What's up, y'all? Welcome to week 4, Better Edge, Setting the Edge show every Thursday, 7 o'clock. This is our 4th week. We're moving into kind of the end of the first month. We have a special guest this week. We've been doing it kind of a 3-host. We finally got a guest. We've been desperate. We had to, appearance fees. We didn't have enough in our budget yet, but we've been killing it on Better Edge. We finally have enough money to throw at Greg Sylvander to get a star on the show. My man, Greg Sylvander, say what's up since you're the guest. You get to go first. What's up, man?
I would like to become a regular member of the show. I mean, you guys never extended the olive branch, so I figured, you don't want me taking your money so frequently. No, but I have been playing in every competition, so it is dope to be here. This is a space that I have not operated in previously. You guys know all I do is talk Miami Heat basketball constantly. So I like the idea of me getting to talk about something else other than Miami Heat basketball. So let's do this thing.
Absolutely. And then my normal co-hosts, I got my guy on the top left wearing the glasses, looking stylish as always. Some compare him to Tyler Hero. My guy, Tony Schwartz.
Listen, man, this hurricane literally has beaten me up. I got a swollen eye and a cut on the cheek from putting up plywood all day and taking it off today. I'm ready to roll, though, man. All my winnings went to Greg's appearance fee, so I'm hoping I can get another 7-3 week. That'd be nice.
Tony is beat up like the Bills defense. And going down in the bottom left-hand corner, straight out of Mexico, right? You're in Mexico right now?
Yes, sir. We out
on vacation, still dedicated to the show. Andy Romero, say what's up.
What's good, boys?
So let me just tell you guys what we got going on here. We are brought to you by Better Edge. It is the official sports betting platform of 5 Reasons Sports. Every week we do a competition. So you can jump on Better Edge. You can get in the marketplace. You can set your own lines. That's the beautiful thing about Better Edge. It's an amazing platform. It's different than your normal sports book, so I encourage you to check it out. BetterEdge.com/5 Reasons will get you $20 from Ethan Skolnick. All 4 of us can attest to this. You don't get money from Ethan ever. So if you click on that link, $20 right out of his pocket. Even when he's coming back from the Bahamas, I heard he did well in blackjack. So that 20, it should be coming quick. So you can also join our competition. You can do that at BetterEdge.com/setting the edge. The links will be on the bottom of our screen. Every week, all you have to do is pick 10 games. College, top 25, or NFL, sides or totals. The lines get frozen when I create the competition on Wednesdays. So a lot of times you can find a lot of value in there. This week, we have a special competition. All you have to do is beat Greg Sylvander. Now, I don't want to throw this out there. I don't want to put your business out there like this, Greg, because you've been doing well. You've been making money. You probably got the most bankroll out of this thing. But what did you do in last week's competition?
So what had happened was, so there's just a 1-week hiatus. Okay. I went 3-7. Of course, Ethan points it out and quote tweets it out into the universe, but he didn't quote tweet the weeks I went 7-3 or 6-4 and finished just behind you. I lead with the chin in that this is all new to me. Better Edge was a completely new platform for me, and the flexibility that it awards is super dope. Like, just because it's allowed me to learn kind of how the lines are manipulated and stuff like that. So all this to say, I am a beginner. So anybody watching this show, enter this competition. It's $10. If you finish higher than me, you'll be in good shape. And, occasionally I get stuff right, but a lot of times I get stuff really, really wrong. So I think that there's a great chance for people to make some money if they want to enter this competition.
Yeah, so basically how it will work.
Luck, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he has, beginner's luck, but who knows? Maybe he's just a natural. You don't know. So how it works, if you get 20 people in here, $10 each, 200 in the pot. Let's say 5 out of those 20 are higher than Greg in terms of their picks. Those 5 people split $200, so they would get $40 each off of a $10 buy-in. If only one person beats Greg, they get the $200. If Greg beats us all, he takes home the whole $200. So whatever it is, $10 a person, it's not a lot to risk. Like I said, if you sign up with our link, $20 from Ethan Skolnick's wallet, you can use that to go in. You can use that to your marketplace. It's a great opportunity. What we do tonight, which gives you even more of an advantage, is we give you our picks. So you can follow us You can fade us. You can use our information, whatever you want to do, pick your own stuff. But we are going to go through the college slate. We are going to go through the NFL slate. We'll break it down. We'll have some fun as we're doing it. You guys ready to go?
Let's
Yes,
roll.
sir.
There you go.
All right. So we're starting off with tonight's game, the game that everybody's talking about, being a Miami Sports Network, the Dolphins at the Bengals. And no coincidence, we all have a play on this game. So, guest first. Greg, what is your pick on this game?
I mean, I'm going full fan mode here, and I'm betting on the spread and the total because I want all the action on a game that I'm emotionally invested in. So take my picks with a grain of salt and fandom. I never bet on the Miami Heat, so that'll be a new experience this year on Better Edge. I am taking the Dolphins as you froze this line at +3. I'm not loving that, Sean, because now I'm seeing it most places +4. I'd like to get 4. 4 feels better, but I'm taking the Dolphins +3 because I feel good about them. And I'm you shifted my pick. You know, pre-show we were talking things we like. I was going under. You convinced me on the over, so I'm going over 47, which is also since increased since you locked these spreads in and totals in. So those are my 2 picks on this game.
Andy, what you got? I know you got one side of it. Is there anything else? I know you got the Dolphins.
We're going both sides on this one. We're on the Greg train right here. Dolphins +3. I love the line because we're going to win the game. So give me the 3 points. I love free money. Now, I'm going opposite on Greg and you, Sean, on the under 47, because I feel like Miami's defense is going to take over on this game. And the Bengals offense, they struggled to score on most teams, and they scored a measly 27 on the Jets. Miami is definitively, I'm going to say it today, definitively the best team in the league right now, with the most explosive offense and very opportunistic defense. Tua undoubtedly is clutch. He can make all the throws on every side of the field, on all the hashes. And these Bengals, they just don't have that swagger. They don't have that confidence that we saw them last year. I don't know what's up with Joe Burrow. I don't know what's up with that offense. They're lacking this year. I expect our D-line to ambush Joe Burrow this week. Tonight, give me Dolphins +3 and the game total under 47.
Tony.
I think this is a battle of matchups, and you have Joe Burrow's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at manipulating third level to make the second level open, right? He has an explosive arm. He has the ability and the talent to really find the X plays on the field this week. Cincy's O-line has been really, really bad. All right. But to counter that, you have Miami flying cross country and playing a game on a short week. I think a lot of this comes down to what's happening in between the trenches. And I've watched Cincy's O-line kind of piece it together. Joe Burrow gets some more time. I think that Dolphins front four is going to be really tasked at keeping the pressure on all night to make sure that Joe Burrow doesn't just eat at the second level of the field. I think the injuries, I don't know what's going on with Tua. I'm not 100% sure what's happening with Waddle. I'm going to take Cincy -3. There's just so much going against the Dolphins in this one particular matchup, especially if everybody was healthy. I would say that there's a matchup advantage for the Bengals, but they're not. So I don't like this at 3.5. I love our line at 3. I would just take money line Cincy if I was playing this straight. But I have the points over. I'm not taking it in this competition, though. But in personal, I have the points over.
So as Greg said, I'm on the over 47. I think, the defensive fatigue from Sunday's game on the Dolphins side, that leans over. The Dolphins, the way that they were aggressive when they got down to Baltimore, and that's the only time they've trailed, really, this entire season. They played aggressively. They threw it all over the place. That leans over. And the Bengals defense has been good. They played who? The Jets, the Steelers, and the Cowboys. Not good offenses. So I think their defense is a little overrated. So that makes me think over. I'm also with Tony. I'm going Bengals -3. I just feel like it's not because I don't think the Dolphins are probably the better team. I just think that short week, Jim Rodriguez on our network posted this earlier. 0-12. 0-12 straight up, 1-11 against the spread since 2015, when you're an underdog that wins on Sunday and is again an underdog on Thursday. When you go on the road on Thursday, 0-8 straight up, 0-8 against the spread. I just think it's just a bad situation for the Dolphins, but the Dolphins have been in bad situations, underdogs the last 2 weeks, and found a way to win. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going Bengals -3, and I'm going over 47.
Hey guys,
All
you
right.
guys are overlooking the fact all these numbers and all this analytical crap. We're 3-0 against the spread this year. So what's
True.
up? You want to use
It's
numbers?
true.
Use those numbers. How about that?
True. All right, we're going to jump into college now. We have Utah State at BYU, number 19 team in the country. Tony is on. Oh, I'm sorry. Greg is on this one. Greg, what do you have on this game?
Yeah, I got BYU minus 24 because Scott in the pool party chat told me that I should, and that's basically it. I have no analysis for you other than he said that it was a lock, and he's given me some great picks. So shout out to him. Nothing but heat out there on Twitter. So that's essentially it. I'm sorry that I don't have more analysis. If any of you folks know anything about BYU, please jump in here. This is not my wheelhouse, but yeah, that's where I'm going with this one.
I like it. That's also a game tonight. So BYU minus 24. Shout out to Scott. I know he usually listens in here with the closed captioning and whatnot. So next up on the college slate, number 15, Washington at UCLA. We got a run of games that are just Tony's games. So Tony, go ahead on this one.
And I usually don't bet early clock games. I love late games in college. I feel like there's way less variance. I can make better plays. But this one, it's all about not trusting Chip Kelly. You know, the UCLA at home still has an explosive offense. That's something that they'll always have with that guy at the helm. But, you know, Washington comes in with a top 20 FBS rushing attack. And I just don't – it's tough for me. I'm going to take UCLA with the 2.5 points just because I think there's a lot of variance there. And I think both of these defenses are terrible. But as an Eagles fan and like someone who had to experience the Chip Kelly thing, I wouldn't call this a lock at all. I would much rather play the points if the line has moved a little bit. But in this competition, I'm taking UCLA at home 2.5 with the points of the value.
Yeah, one of the things we've talked about throughout this, you know, the 2.5, 3s, 3.5s, the values of those different numbers. But home dog, I think that's a good bet on a Friday night game too. Tony is on number 4, Michigan at Iowa. This line is Michigan minus 10.5 on the road, over under 42.5. Tony, what you got?
Man, me and Andy were making so much money off those beefy white boys up in Iowa, man, last year. What great plays we made. I think that it's the opposite this year, though. Iowa's just not as good. Their offensive line isn't as talented. Michigan is a really well-coached team, so I just like them to cover. I know 10.5 is a risky number. That's a touchdown, a field goal, and another score. But I really think Michigan runs away with this. Iowa doesn't have the offensive firepower to keep it close, and they certainly don't have the defense to slow down Michigan's attack. So give me number 5, Michigan to cover.
All right, and the last one for Tony here, number 18, Oklahoma at TCU. Oklahoma is favored by 5.5. What you got?
Yeah, one of my favorite games to bet overs in, these offensive just shootouts with no defense at all. This time the number's a little high. I think it was 65 in our competition. That's
67.5.
Yeah, that's tough for me. I'm not going to do that. I am going to take I would just take the TCU money line in any other situation, but our competition, we have to take spread. So I'm going to take TCU. There's a lot of backdoor potential on this line. My suggestion is, in a personal situation, play the money line. Don't take the points on either side, but give me TCU covering.
All right, next up, we got Greg and Andy on number 7, Kentucky traveling to number 14, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 6.5-point favorite, over under 54.5. Greg, go ahead.
This was another one where Scott slid me Kentucky as a lock, so I'm taking them. What's it? Plus 6.5, right?
Yeah.
It's a shocker that he slid you Kentucky plus 6.
Exactly. He's a huge
Can't
Kentucky
Nobody is
fan.
there.
They've been playing tough. It's weird to see Kentucky at the top of college football rankings. I'm still not used to it. But again, this was another pick by him. I promise you I've done my own homework, but it just so happens that these few first ones that you're rattling off towards me were fed to me by the homie in the pool party chat. So, I mean, do any of you guys feel like this is crazy for me to go plus 6.5? I mean, I feel like that's they're the higher ranked team.
Higher ranked team on the road, SEC game. I'm on the under. I think that Ole Miss runs the ball pretty well, so you're going to have a low scoring game. In a low scoring game, if we're connecting our two plays, if I'm going low scoring, I want points. So I would take the Kentucky side if I were going that way. Andy, you have something on this game too?
Yes, sir. I also, I've been a little quiet in the chat this week because I've been on vacation, but I'm also looking out to what my boy Scott's been saying. I'm on Kentucky plus 6.5, just like our boy Greg. Kentucky, like he mentioned, is the higher-ranked team, has shown that they're capable. They have a very good, reliable defense this year, and against the run. Held the starting running back for Northern Illinois to 3.5 yards per carry in the game where they gave up the most points this year, 23. So they're the dogs with all this on their side. I have to jump on it. I'm not going to give you this great analysis or nothing, but I'm telling you, higher-ranked team, they've shown who they are. I got to go Kentucky.
Yeah, they had a big win against Florida. I mean, you kind of question Kentucky sometimes in football, obviously a basketball school, but big win against Florida. That's a pretty solid team. Speaking of Florida, now we got number 22 Wake Forest at number 23 Florida State, finally cracking into the top 25. So shout out to Tony. And no surprise, Tony is on this game. So Tony, what do you have? It's Florida State -6.
Give me my microphone, gentlemen. Give me my microphone, as all the eyes in college football are attached to Doak Campbell. Sold out Doak Campbell for the second week in a row, looking to solidify college football relevance again against an incredibly offensive gifted Wake Forest team. There's no doubt that Sam Hartman is a guy that you love to watch. I mean, he's going to dive for the extra yardage. He's going to make the big play. It's absolutely in his wheelhouse. He was so fun against Clemson. I mean, what a game that was last week. And there will be a point where Florida State's lack of edge rushing dominance is going to show itself. I'm aware of my own team's weaknesses, but it's a better secondary that Wake Forest has to go up against, okay? And it's a much more talented middle linebacking core. All the linebackers, Bethune and Dolce, they're combined 58 tackles, which is second in the FBS right now between the pair. The middle of the field is closed up. Wake Forest doesn't have a running game that they can speak of. FSU -6 at home, sold out Doak Campbell. I just think they have all the right advantages against a Wake Forest team that is good, but there's just a matchup advantage for Florida State that they really can exploit.
Wake Forest coming off of a tough loss last week.
Tough.
They should have won that one. I'm glad I was on Clemson. They lucked out of that one, but I shouldn't have won that bet.
And me and you both had live plays on that game, by the way.
Yeah,
people were really betting that one up, and I made money on both sides of the line watching those live plays, guys. Those opportunities are there with Better Edge.
Yep, and you can do that on Better Edge. I didn't know that until a few weeks ago. I was always just playing like pregame lines. They still do the live marketplace. So like if you're watching a game on a Saturday afternoon and Andy's really confident in how Clemson's playing, and I'm like, no. It's like they've gotten lucky. They've had a couple nice, series. I can bet the other side of it. It's pretty cool, that peer-to-peer betting, even in the live aspect of games. Next game, Northwestern at Penn State. Penn State is number 11 team in the country. They are 26.5-point favorites, over under 52. Tony, you're on this one also. Huge college card for Tony this week.
Yeah, my model told me to play a lot of college games this week. Every novice bettor has a model that they think makes them better than the next person. There's just a lot of games I like that met the eye test and that met my emotional feelings. I think Sean Clifford gets some scores here. I don't think anyone would call Penn State an explosive offense. Sean, you watch them a lot. I don't think they're really any good. The problem is Northwestern is a lot worse. One of the best plays of this week is the under on this card, 52 points. I'm hammering that. I just don't think either of these teams can really score the ball. Penn State gets up 21, 28. Northwestern puts 14 on, and that's being advantageous to them. I don't think there's that many points on the board for Northwestern. So give me the under, and that's my play of the week, too. I love that.
Ooh. Bet the house special.
No, not the play of the week. Say it. What is that?
I'm not saying it.
It's the bet the house for Tony.
Don't bet the house. A lot of people lost their houses today. Don't bet the house. Leave the houses alone.
Bet the house specials.
True.
3-0 in the last 3 weeks, brother. Everybody's buying mansions up to this point.
It's true.
I don't know what's going on.
Andy, you remember what happened last time someone bet on an under in a Manny Diaz defensive game?
Ooh.
Hey, Tony.
Everybody went home homeless, Sean. Tony's
living dangerous. Tony's living dangerous.
Trying.
Greg is on the next one. Number 2, Alabama, minus 17.5 on the road in the SEC at number 20, Arkansas. Over under is 61. Greg, what you got?
Hammering the over. That's where I'm at. Arkansas, other than last week, has been scoring very well, and Alabama is Alabama. To me, this was relatively easy for me to go to. So yeah, I mean, that's my analysis. I know that Arkansas, they didn't score quite as well last week, so maybe that could be a cause for concern. But I see them getting just enough with Alabama's avalanche to make this a high-scoring affair. I'm actually excited to watch this game, and I'm typically not seeking out Alabama football.
And Nick Saban will pour it on you if he gets a chance. So
yeah,
that's good for the over. Last college game, NC State, number 10 team in the country at number 5, Clemson. We talked about Clemson squeezing through last week. Clemson is a 7-point favorite at home, over under 43. And Tony and Greg are on this one. So let's start with Tony.
What am I on? Am I on Clemson? Did I say I was on Clemson? I did. Yeah. Okay. All right. Look, Clemson's coming off a really tough game against Wake. I don't think that they thought they were going to be that tight to the end. I don't think that they expected their defense not to come up with one stop, especially down the final stretches of the games. There's probably a bit of that's a little embarrassing for them. There's a lot of questions right now about Clemson's ability to make it in the college football playoffs. They're going up against a pretty good NC State team. This is not a pushover team, but I do think weather affects this matchup. It's going to bring the ball more towards the ground. You have DJ and Shipley, who are very mobile for a quarterback running back tandem, running a lot of RPO in the offense. I don't like any of the spreads. I do like the points total. I'm going to go over 43, even though it is a rain game. Just because both of these offenses, I think, can execute a running game. So we're going to be seeing the ball move a lot up and down the field, and I'm just trusting the points to be covered by NC State, but mostly by Clemson, who I think puts 32 up in this game.
Greg, what you got?
I went Clemson -7. Like, listen, NC State took 2 overtimes last season to beat Clemson, and it was the first time they did it in quite some time. They're not going to beat them 2 years in a row in Clemson. Like, to me, like, this was another easy money. I know 7 points is a lot. I feel like this is going to be a blowout. Hasn't Clemson been scoring in the 50s every week? I mean, I'm not great at this. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Let me look for my own sake. 51 last week, 48, 41, 35. So I'm expecting high scoring. So I think the over makes sense there too. But nah, it's Clemson -7 on my card.
There's a real gamer over there at NC State. Devin Leary, that guy's a real gamer. Shout out to the Timber Creek Regional High School legend himself. Wow. He's going to keep it close. I think me and Greg are both kind of like hitting around the same thing. A touchdown's good for Clemson. The over's good for Clemson.
Should be a good game in the ACC. I'm going to throw this comment to Andy. I don't know if Andy can see that comment, but our guy Ray is in the comments. He asked, how do you feel about Wisconsin -7? It's Illinois coming to Wisconsin. And if you come to this show, if you've watched it before, there is no one probably in America, especially right now in Mexico, that likes Wisconsin football more than Andy. So, Andy, just give us a quick breakdown. I know you're not prepared for this, but go ahead.
Sir. If Wisconsin is favored, there's a reason. It's because my big beef white boys are going to stand up in the front of the line, push those boys back, and let their running back run the ball. -7 is too low. It should be -15. Go Wisconsin.
Remember when they stomped the Canes? I mean,
Greg, pero ¿qué te pasa, bro? These are not the memories I'm trying to recover right now, man.
Dude, that was years ago.
I remember.
But you talk about these big white boys, and it brings back old memories. Sorry.
I remember Jonathan Taylor. He went up like 2 rounds off that game alone. I know.
There will be multiple carries by a fullback in that game. I can almost assure you of that. Before we go to the NFL card, we want to talk about our competition. Just to remind you, it is betteredge.com/setting the edge. The link is on the bottom. You put a dash in between setting the edge. It will take you to Better Edge. You can download the app. Get yourself $20 when you sign up from Ethan Skolnick from 5 Reasons Sports. Once you join, all you got to do is pick 10 games, NFL, college football, top 25. We've talked about our college picks. We're going to get into our NFL picks. And a reminder this week, all you have to do is beat Greg Sylvander. If he goes last week 3-7 again, lots of people are going to make money. If he goes 7-3, you just got to be one of the couple people that does better than that. That's not going to be easy, but you're going to make yourself more money. So the less people that beat him, the more money you'll make. The worse he does, more people make money. It's just going to be a little bit lower payout. But we'll see what Greg does. I mean, he's got some good picks, I feel like, so far, but we have just gotten into the NFL. So this could be where Greg's weakness comes in. We're going to start talking first here.
It's
not about the money?
It's about bragging rights. Being able to tweet at Greg, I beat you. Thank you for
that. Is a great point.
This is true. Bring it on all day.
You know what? Post your picks out, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Monday night after you beat Greg.
Yep.
Tag Greg, put it at Greg Sylvander. That's where you can follow him on Twitter. If you're not following,
auto retweet.
You get retweeted. And you know what? You'll make a lot of friends, like with Raptors Twitter and other fan bases. Philly, they'll love it. They'll post it to like their Discords and things like that. Like I mean,
congrats.
Yeah. Let's jump in. We got early football on Sunday. There's a game over in London between the Vikings and the Saints. On our competition, it is Vikings -3 over under 44. It looks like Tony and myself are the two people on this game. Tony, I'll let you go first.
The Saints are so disappointing to me. I know the Vikings are inconsistent, but they have top-tier NFL talent, and Kirk Cousins will just show up one week and then not the other. But Dalvin Cook still exists. There's nothing about the Saints offense that showed me anything that tells me they're going to travel over to London and then compete in a game that's super early and out of their time schedule. I don't trust their defense to travel, especially to another continent. Give me the Saints or give me the Vikings -3. I don't really feel like I need too much analysis for this one.
Yeah, and our guy Ray, I know he's a Saints fan. He just put in the chat, the streets are saying Andy Dalton is starting. I don't even know if that's a downgrade.
I don't either.
Damn, Sean, look at the shade.
Apologies.
I'm on the Vikings. Jameis has a back injury. I think Sean's right.
I'm on the Vikings -3. I think it's a good number. Favorites in London games are 18-3-1 straight up, 15-7 against the spread. I just think the Vikings, they have an explosive offense. They have a terrible defense. So I thought about going over. But they have some question marks. Dalvin Cook's kind of banged up, but it looks like he's going to play. That Jameis thing is a question. Ray just said a good point. Alvin Kamara, he should have a good breakout game because the Vikings defense is not good. So next one is, let's see here. Chargers at Texans. Chargers are 6.5-point favorites. That line could change. We did this last week with the Justin Herbert thing. You could have got some value on the Jaguars in our competition. I think it finished +7 in our competition, right? And it got moved to like 4, I think, by the time it kicked off. So Chargers are -6.5 right now with Justin Herbert kind of in question, over under 45.5. Andy is on this game. Go ahead.
Man, last week you didn't really need the value with the way the Jaguars, Sean's pick for AFC South champs played last week. I'm going to fade the Chargers again, though. Texans +6.5 is my play. We got Justin Herbert dealing with his rib injury. He should be out for months. He has to recover his rib cartilage stuff. He's paying through it. He's tough. You can't hate on him for that. It's just negligence on the side of the Chargers. You can't let your franchise quarterback play through that. And it's affecting your team. He cannot play he doesn't even look 50% out there. So that offense is taking a hit. And defensively, they put up their worst performance since the last time they played the Texans last December. So for some reason, there's a matchup nightmare they have going on there. They're missing Joey Bosa. I personally expect a breakout game from Dameon Pierce. It's not just because I have him on my fantasy team. I think there's a weaker off defensive line they're going against, and I think the Texans, they're a team that not the best of the league, but they always put up a fight. So give me Texans +6.5.
I like that pick for sure. If it was 7, I would have been on it. 6.5. But if you get that Herbert injury, if he's out this week, you're going to have huge value on that. So it's a good pick by Andy. Next one is Bears at Giants. Giants are 3-point favorites at home. Over under is 39.5. It looks like Tony, Andy, and myself are all on this one. Let's start this time with Tony.
I see your vision for New York winning football game. I see it. I understand. I mean, it's a crap bet. I'm sorry you're going to lose money on it, but I do see the vision. The schedule so much in their favor. last week, Chicago, I took -3 because I just thought that there was a better player on Chicago's side, but there's nothing going into this New York game. New York's offense is actually pretty innovative. It's kind of interesting how they use weapons right now. They just don't have that much top tier talent. We'll see how they, go into their next offseason. But Justin Fields is inconsistent as hell. There's not a backup that they can put on the field that makes that offense work more. Chicago is Montgomery. It starts and ends there. Giants at home. Give me -3. I almost made this my lock of the week.
All right. Looks like we lost Andy for a second. Like we said, he's on vacation. There he is. He's back. He's back. Right on time.
It's like Beetlejuice.
What do you have on the Bears-Giants, Andy?
Bears and Giants. I got Giants +3. These Bears, man, I don't know what's going on with Justin Fields. I don't know if he's partying with Trey Lance. I don't know what's going on. He's not playing well. He's not playing like we expect him to play. And that passing offense, it's just painful to watch. It really is. Giants defense this year has been playing well, and I think in this game the Giants pass rush is gonna finally show out. They're gonna show their fangs, especially with number 2 overall pick, Kayvon Thibodeau, finally getting some playing time, getting back from his injury. I expect the Giants to take over. Daniel Jones, he might not look great, but Giants +3 is the play on this one for sure. They really should be favored on this game.
I know I've been floating this Giants agenda about the NFC East. I'm zagging a little bit here. I'm going Bears +3.
Whoa!
I got to hear this one. I got to hear this.
Here's what I'm thinking. The Bears have played in the rain against the 49ers and won. They played the Packers, and they played who last week? The Texans?
Texans.
I think the Bears are not very good. I know the Bears are not very good. But I don't think the Giants, especially with their injuries right now at wide receiver, it doesn't look like Wan'Dale Robinson's going to play. Kadarius Toney is always hurt. Kenny Golladay hasn't been right in 3 to 4 years. I just wonder, can they score enough points in a low-scoring game? Again, I talked about this earlier, low-scoring game. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the Bears. If the Giants win, I'm happy because I have that future bet on the Giants to win the NFC East. I just feel like for some reason this is like a weird game that is sloppy, and at the end it's a field goal game. Maybe I push, maybe I win. I hope none of us have to watch that game. It's that Bears and Giants. There's got to be something better to do Sunday at 1:00.
My problem with that game, Sean, is that Justin Fields has struggled to put up 100 yards for 3 straight weeks. If it happens once, it's the rain. If it happens twice, it's the matchup. 3 weeks in a row, what's happening with the offense? Either it's too vanilla or he can't play. I don't know what's going on. He played better last year. It's
his passing numbers, like attempts, not just his success, the attempts that they're allowing him to put the ball in the air are comparable to like Tim Tebow back in the 2010s. He's a better passer than Tim Tebow. Don't get that twisted. It's just a weird situation. They don't have a lot of talent, but it doesn't make sense why they wouldn't just let him rip it all over the field and see what he has. We'll see. Next one, Jaguars at Eagles. Tony's Eagles, 3-0 on the season. I'm actually going to be going to the game this Sunday, so I'll get to go to my first Eagles game this season. The Eagles are 7-point favorites, over under 47.5. Andy is also on this one, so go ahead.
Go ahead. Tony?
I think you're on this one, right, Andy?
I'm not on it, brother.
I'm sorry.
No.
Damn, Tony, you're not playing this one? Your team is on this one.
No.
I got a double play, okay? I'm going to fade Tony's Eagles on the spread. I think they're going to win the game, but I'm going Jaguars +7, and I'm going under 47.5. Eagles, I'm going to be real. I like Mess Tony, but I'm going to be real right now. Eagles are a top 5 NFL team right now. I did not expect that. People were saying it during the preseason, and I wasn't on the train. So true, congratulations. Statistically, the Jaguars are the best net rated team in the NFL based off their offense and defense statistics. I was very surprised by that number. Another team that Sean, was on to win their division this year. Trevor Lawrence, he looks like he's turning the corner like we expected him to do as a number 1 overall pick, generational talent. And this Jaguars defense is kicking ass. They have been stocking up draft picks in the first and second rounds in the D-line, and it's paying off. Their pass rush is delicious, not in a bad way, good way. And the Eagles, I put them on upset alert. They scored big on the lines, everybody's scoring big on the Lions. So that's why I'm going on the under. I think they're going to win. Their defense is going to hold. But +7, that's big enough for me to go Jaguars. And under 47.5.
Interesting thing that's going to happen this Sunday. If you watch the weather along the upper East Coast, kind of the Northeast, that storm's going to keep moving north. We're supposed to get a ton of rain and wind in Philly. So Sunday, that's going to affect the game. And I wonder how that's going to, you could look at Baltimore, all those games along the East Coast. It's definitely going to affect it. Next one is Seahawks at Lions. Lions are 6-point favorites, over under 49.5. I'm the only one on this one. Andy actually hinted towards one reason that I'm on the over is that the Lions are second in points per game, 31.7 points per game. They're also worst in points allowed. So they allow 31 and they give up, or they score 31.7. They allow 31. That's an over for me every week until I tell you otherwise. I'm always going
Dan
Lions
Campbell
over.
gets on the D-line and starts sacking QBs.
And starts biting people's ankles and stuff like that. And the Lions have injury problems. DeAndre Swift, Amon St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson. So for that reasons, I'm going on the Seahawks +6. This will be the first time since 2020, November 2020, the Lions will close as a favorite. That's crazy. They almost were a favorite a few weeks ago. The Falcons game, it switched and the Falcons closed as a favorite. And so I'm going Seahawks +6 over 49.5 in this one. Next up, a premier matchup here. The Buffalo Bills coming off their loss to the Dolphins. Hopefully it's not sunny in Baltimore. It's supposed to rain, so that should be good for them. Bills at Ravens. Andy, myself, and Greg are all on this one. And since Greg, I don't know if we didn't call on him for a while. He might almost fell asleep over there. We've been talking without him. So let's get Greg back in the mix here. Greg, what do you got on this game?
I'm going Buffalo -3 because they just lost to the Dolphins, and I feel like they're the type of team that are not going to lose 2 in a row. I could easily take the over here as well because something screams shootout about the game. But for me, it just basically comes down to that I really like Buffalo, and I think that they're the type of team that's going to respond to a tough loss. So that's where, like the points is just is gravy for me. Like I think that this is a matchup that that just screams Buffalo. Josh Allen kind of willing themselves. They do have some injury issues. Gabriel Davis is still not back playing as well as he can be playing. But I don't know. In this matchup, to me, it transcends all that. Josh Allen wins this game for them. And I'm going Buffalo -3.
Andy.
So I mistakenly put X on this game, Sean. However, I will give a little analysis. Ravens are going to win because the Dolphins are going to win the AFC East. So this is a game they need to lose for that to be happening. So go Ravens.
Not just because Andy said that the Ravens are going to win, but I'm also on the Ravens +3. I did find this interesting stat, and this is not really why I went with this, but I saw somebody posted this on Twitter. Teams after a road game in Miami, 57, 79, and 4 against the spread, 42% over the last 20 years. It must be that hot sun that beats down. There's no shade. It's not fair. All those OSHA violations and all that.
We've
just incredible.
We're
I just
building
don't
a dome
understand
this offseason. Don't worry.
how that can be allowed. It's so unsafe. I just think, a home dog, I'm going to trust in a close game. I'll take the points, but I think that should be a really good, probably the premier game at 1 o'clock. Next one, myself and Greg are both on the Cardinals at the Panthers. Panthers are 1.5-point favorites. Over under is 44. Greg, go ahead.
So this line is moved to 2 now. Carolina -2. And to me, it boils down to that Christian McCaffrey in the first 2 weeks was getting 10 carries, 15 carries, which, okay, that sounds cool. And then they kind of figured out that their offense may click a little bit more if they just give him the ball and don't look back. I think he got 26, 25 carries last week. I think that they're going to lean into that even more. Arizona's flying across the country to Carolina. So for me, that's where I'm leaning in Carolina's direction here. I just think that they finally are figuring out that the rest of the offense is going to be questionable, and it's Christian McCaffrey all day. And James Conner is banged up there in Arizona. So to me, Carolina is the way to go here.
So Andy knows there are 2 coaches in the NFL that I absolutely despise. I think they're absolute fools. One is Nathaniel Hackett, and the other one is Matt Rule. Matt Rule, when he's with the Panthers, They are 1-25 when their opponent scores 17 points. That's not a lot of points. 17 points. They don't win games.
Oh my gosh.
I just think the Cardinals can give up those points. I think Greg makes a great point about the west to east travel. Usually that's a killer in those early games. I don't think the Cardinals are good. I just don't trust Baker Mayfield. I don't trust Matt Rule. If Christian McCaffrey balls out, he's obviously the best player on the field. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals, plus 1.5 in this one. My next one is my boy Nathaniel Hackett, his Broncos, traveling to the Raiders. Raiders are winless right now, which is kind of a shocker. Raiders minus 1.5, over under 46. Andy and myself are on this one. So Andy, go first.
Man, I feel really sad when I made this pick because the Raiders have been my second team for a while. I have a lot of homeboys back in Miami that are Raiders fans for years. I tend to stay away from these AFC West rival games as they're very unpredictable. Teams that should win, teams that should win, lose. However, I have to fade the Raiders on this one. I feel Broncos are slowly but surely getting their chemistry back. At least Russell Wilson has chemistry with one weapon on offense, and that's Courtland Sutton. So I don't see I see that getting better. And the Raiders defense, it's not in sync. It's like they have big names and they're just not getting the job done. It's particularly Chandler Jones. He needs to play better if that defense is going to do what it needs to do. They need the pass rush from him. That offensive line doesn't look very great either. They cut a bunch of players for salary reasons. They had to cut first-round pick Alex Leatherwood because he sucked. Like, their O-line is just not looking good. Their D-line is not looking good. Broncos plus 1.5 to me is a gimme. I got to go there.
You already know I'm opposite of you, Andy, on this one. I just cannot stand the Broncos. You are right. They are making progress. Their head coach had to hire somebody so they successfully can operate with the play clock. Like, give me a freaking break. The guy is an absolute idiot. Let me talk about last week. How did they win that game? I don't know. 9 3-and-outs, 0 touchdown passes for Russell Wilson, 184 passing yards, and they had 2 fumbles that they luckily recovered both. If Jimmy G didn't turn into a freaking idiot and throw the ball, I mean, they win that game. 49ers were my lock last week. I'm going back to it. Bet the house special on the Raiders. They're going to be all in Vegas, pushing all the chips to the middle of the table. Stack them up on the roulette table, put it on the black. The Raiders win the game. Sorry about that, Andy. I didn't mean to go all.
I hope I lose this one. I hope I go 9-1 right now just for this.
All right, 9-1. That's good. Yeah. I mean, all we have to do is beat Greg. We're playing together.
That's it.
You know, he's like the dealer in blackjack. We all win. Let's do this.
My problem is Greg is going 10-0. So
hey, it could happen. If he goes 10-0. He's coming
happening.
back.
Come on now.
Patriots at Packers. It is the biggest spread of the week. Packers are favored by 10 with the news of Mac Jones being out, and the Patriots obviously are struggling anyways. Over under 42.5. Greg is on this one. Riding solo. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, immediately on this one, I felt the under was the play just because New England's a mess. Green Bay's been weird. I mean, I think Brett Favre. Oh my gosh,
he's been weird too.
He's been weird too.
That's a whole different show. Aaron Rodgers has been sacked maybe 10 times. It's got to be close to maybe 8. I think that also last time I checked, as I was looking, this under is now all the way down to 40. And, when you locked it in, it's at 42.5. That's another indication that the under is with the way that I'm going here. Under 40 would be a little bit tougher. 42.5, I feel like I'm getting value there. So that's where I'm locking in on this one. It's more on the spread or on the total than the spread.
All right, next one is Sunday Night Football.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andy.
Remember, I've been having a couple mojitos throughout the week, so this morning I wasn't right. I also misclicked. I didn't mean to click on the other team. I meant to click on this game, so I have something to say about this game.
On the Patriots game?
Yes. Not the Chiefs game. You can delete that one.
Okay. So go ahead with your Patriots pick.
So Packers versus Pats. Okay. Let's be real. I don't think the line should have moved because of Mac Jones. That does not change the game.
No, it doesn't.
Same player, okay? Just a little older. Actually, and Brian Hoyer's been in this system for so long, he probably knows the playbook like the back of his hand. Packers plus 10 is the play, and Packers plus 10 is the bet the house special of the week. Plus 10. Very big for the NFL, I know. But on top of all the woes they're having at quarterback, the wide receivers just don't get separation. They have a bunch of Jags, just a guy on the wide receiver corps. They got Devontae Parker thinking he was going to do something. They forgot the fact that he only plays well against Jalen Mills, who's on their team. So there's not much value they're getting there. Their offense is not going to put up points. This is going to be a signature game from A-Rod and the Pack. Expect a lot of Lambeau leaps and a lot of Belichick not shaking hands because he's a sore loser.
I just want to check on behalf of the mojitos you've consumed this week. You want Patriots plus 10 or Packers minus 10?
Oh, Packers minus 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then second, because Packers plus 10 would be a great line. You could put that
Great
out there in
line.
the marketplace. I don't know if anyone else is going to take it unless they've consumed a lot of mojitos also, but you never know. That's what you can do on Better
Somebody
Edge. You set your own lines.
bro. Don't worry about it. Just do it.
Second thing I want to ask is about the acronym JAGS. Did you come up with that on your own during the mojitos, or is that something that's like terminology I'm not familiar with?
Bro, even when I'm not on mojitos or on Bacardi or nothing like that, I have a good brain. It's very powerful. It's very big. So I don't know. I don't remember. Last night was a long night. Let's just say that.
Appreciate the clarity on that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Sunday Night Football. We're almost done. Chiefs at Bucks. Chiefs are favored by 3 on the road in Tampa. Over under 46.5. Greg is on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City. I don't believe in Tampa Bay. I don't see them having sustained success throughout the season. That's just where I'm at. I do like Kansas City, and yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
If I had an 11th pick, this would have been mine. I can't believe the Chiefs are going to lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
The Bucks have a good defense. I know there's going to be a whole rally with obviously we're sympathetic to what happened in that area of the country. And I think Tampa will rally behind that. They're going to keep the game there in Tampa, it sounds like. But I still think the Chiefs, man, they're just too good. Patrick Mahomes is too good. So I like that pick by Greg. Last one, Monday Night Football. Rams at 49ers. Tony and Greg are on this one. Let's let Tony go first so Greg can close it out. 49ers minus 1.5. Over under is 46. Tony.
Yeah, I think this line still has some week 1 bias on it. LA's offensive line was so bad. They left Matt Stafford out to dry. But each week they get a little bit better. They're finding more clarity of what they want to do schematically. In honesty, I don't like the Rams as they sit right now. But the 49ers offense is so mundane. Where are they going to score points? They have really good secondary players out there in LA. They need Jimmy G to find the seams in between the plays. He doesn't look like he's back in sync with the offense. I don't like the offense in the first place. This is an LA game for me. I'm taking LA to cover. I'm playing the odds and the value here. I think the Rams take this with Matt Stafford upright, just being able to execute on X plays.
Greg?
Yeah, I just don't believe in the Niners offense. I feel like this is a game we're going to look back on by the end of the season and be like, how could the Rams only been a 1 or like plus 1.5? I just don't see it. So yeah, that it's more also that like, what if the Niners scored 10 points twice? I feel like the Rams will overpower them ultimately. So yeah, this is if I had to have a lock of the week, this would probably be mine.
Jimmy had comments in the media today where he's like, oh, I've been out of sync. I haven't been in training camp. I haven't been at practices. I'm just confused, like what another 4 days is going to do for you to make you more in sync with the offense. So that makes no sense to me.
Just since Greg is here, and in case that gets clipped, can you clarify that's Jimmy Garoppolo, not Jimmy Butler? Because that could get us all in trouble.
This is very true.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Different Jimmy than we normally talk about. Just for the aggregators.
I'd rather have
that are
Jimmy
watching.
Butler as my quarterback, sight unseen.
That's true. I would agree. He's pretty much good at everything, it seems like. So, all right, guys. Greg, thanks for coming on.
Put him at tight. That boy would take over.
Tight end? He's got to be better than Gesicki.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't, hey. Thank you guys for coming on. Greg, thanks for joining us. Remember the competition, betteredge.com/settingtheedge. The link is on the bottom. It will be in the show description. We'll tweet it out. You can join all the way through Sunday as long as there's still 10 picks available. Usually that's like the 4 o'clock games in the NFL are really the deadline to do that. All you got to do is beat Greg. All you got to do is beat Greg, and you have the advantage that you can watch this show again. You can go back and look at his picks, and you know what he's going to pick. So if you just beat those picks, you'll get to see a couple of them tonight. You'll get to see our picks tonight. So good luck to everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.